Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I wanna go to bed. Had a little drink about an hour ago and it went straight to my head. Wherever I may
All right, so what we're
roam,
looking at here
on
today
land, on sea,
in
on
our little slideshow is 2 point perspective. So now you guys did a little bit of this last time we were together. We did a city street, and 2 point is, and part of the reason I'm showing you this is because sometimes it's easier to visualize when they draw all the connecting lines. But it's a pain when I make you draw all the connecting lines because then you have to go back and erase them. So if you can get in the habit when you make one of these vertical corner lines of just putting your ruler on your vanishing point and drawing as much of the line as you need, your life will be better. The key is getting your ruler on that vanishing point. Otherwise, it's not going to look right. And some of you guys, as I was grading your stuff, you did real good on the buildings, and then you completely messed up the sidewalks. So double check the sidewalks before you send it in. Make sure all the top lines of the sidewalks are going to a vanishing point, and you should be in pretty good shape. Here's one that was done that they had lots of time, probably spent a week on it, worked on shading. In our final comic book project, you will probably do a bit of that, either in 1 point or 2 point. I'm going to leave it optional to you which one makes more sense. But as I said over and over again, 2 point really is easier because it's either left, right on the vanishing points or vertical for the most part. All right, got a nice building here, same thing. Got a vanishing point off down here, vanishing point down there. All right, every one of those sidewalk lines are going to that vanishing point. Every one of these sidewalk lines are going to that vanishing point. If you don't believe me, take a second, hold your pencil up, put it on the vanishing point on the or the line on the screen. Just kind of walk your way back to the vanishing point. You'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. That's a sighting skill, and we've talked about that too. Now, is this only good for drawing buildings? Heck no. You can draw packages, boxes, anything that would be considered form or geometric form within the three-dimensional world. So even though we've been doing ginormous things, you could do something as simple as a box connected to the vanishing point. So as you're looking at this thing, your vanishing point has to be way off the paper on this. And this has been a constant thing with people who do point perspective. Um, 1 point, not so big of a deal. Your 1 point is actually on there, but in your 2 point perspective, and definitely in your 3 point perspective, you almost have to tape your paper to a table, draw your vanishing points on the table outside of the paper, and then do your drawing. The reason why is because stuff gets squished, kind of like that. Our vanishing points are probably off the paper on this one. Hold on. I'll put up my ruler, my pencil. Could be on the very corner of the paper, could be off the paper. The closer you get to the vanishing points, the more distortion you get. And you definitely see it within this. All right. So your cone of vision is usually the thing that you would focus on. And then your vanishing points would be off your paper so they didn't get squished as things got dragged to the side. All right. 2 point room, very lovely. Another 2 point room, super lovely. Lot of lot of effort went into this. If you look at this plane here, you can see they did this little X to X, corner to corner method, and that helped them establish all the lines they need to figure out where all the details went. And then back to houses. These guys or this guy put a ton of detail in his house. So I mean, we've been doing outlines of pretty much everything. You know, we did an outline of the city street, we did an outline of a room. We haven't really tried to do a lot of finished work of art. Because some people, sadly, all they got to draw on is lined paper. And you can do a killer drawing on lined paper, but it gets frustrating. So hopefully, when we get back in the spring, we'll be away from that. If anybody needs to come in during a study hall and wants to work on some of the stuff we did, just for your own benefit, because these are skills I'm teaching you. You know, you could take these out in the world and actually make money, because only 3% of the people in our world make 100% of what we visually see. So if you think about that, how many pro football players are going to to the NFL from Elgin High? I bet you could figure that out with a guess. But how many people in Elgin High are going to go into designing or creating or anything where you have to make things that are visual? A lot more, tons more. I don't know who drew that one. That was not one of my students. One of the other ones were, and the locker one that we looked at was a assignment. It was a couple of classes ago. Was an assignment that we usually do in drawing 3-4, which is now drawing 2. All right, here's a really cool room one. A lot of effort. Oops, a lot of effort went into that. Bricks. Normally, I show you guys how to do bricks, but so many people screw up on bricks, and I can't buzz around and check every one of you and actually put your ruler where it needs to be to show you how to do it. So we're bypassing bricks for the time being. All right, let's see if there's any others I need to show you real quick. Just how other things can be done is a 2-point or a 3-point perspective. All right. And then how things in the real world look like as actually a 2-point perspective. So that's pretty tight. That's also a very haunted place in New Orleans. So if you get down there and you like ghosts, that's a fun place to go. If you like ghosts. This is going to start out like any other perspective drawing we've done with a horizon line, but it's going to be a relatively light horizon line because I'm pretty sure I am going to erase almost all of it. All right. So you draw a horizon line in the middle of your paper. And just like when we did the city streets or city street, I'm going to put 2 vanishing points, one on the far left, one on the far right. And these arrows aren't going to anything. They're just to show you where those vanishing points are, because they should be tiny. Should there be a tiny little vanishing point? If you have a monolithic vanishing point, it is going to have 2 sides, and you're never going to know which side to put the ruler on. And then your drawing is going to look like it's made by drunken gnomes. And that would be bad. Okay. Now, our corner line is going to be relatively small here. So I'm going to go off center a little bit to the right. Just a little, maybe an inch. All right. And I'm really only going to make a corner line that is about an inch tall. That's all I'm going to do with that. Now, last time we were together and we did the city street, the right side of that corner line went to the right vanishing point and the left went to the left vanishing point. So normally, like I was saying, right goes to the right, left goes to the left. I'm going to put my ruler on my right and put it on the top of the corner line. We're doing everything backwards to make a room. Huh? Instead of right going to the right, the left goes to the right. What? Remember when we made the box in one point and we drew away from the box? That's what we're doing today. We're putting our pencil on our corner line and we're pushing away from the corner line. You do it on the top. I'm going to hook up here on the right, and you do it on the bottom. I have made one wall of my room. No. Thank you. You're all too kind. Give it a shot. Alrighty then. Now I'm going to put my ruler on my left vanishing point. Bam, bam. I'm going to push away from the corner line, like so. I'm going to put my ruler on the left and go up to the bottom. Always check your vanishing point before you draw. And I can push away, or I can pull two. And now I've got both a right wall and a left wall to this room. Doesn't look like much yet. But wait, it will be spectacular soon. Now, just like before, we're going to put a door off to the side of the corner line. Since it's on the right wall, it's got to go to the left vanishing point, at least the top of the door. Bottom of the door is already going to a vanishing point because it's the bottom of the wall. So this line, boom, boom, left vanishing point. All right. Sides of the door to the ground. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing that you did there. Thank you. I like to be amazing. Now, if you can figure it out, we made our last door in one point go in. We can't do that unless we connect to a vanishing point. You have left or right. If I try to go to the left, I've already drawn a line to that door from the left. All right. If I go to the right, oh, hey, look, I can pull that off. So from the lower left corner, I draw inward. From the upper left corner, I draw inward. That's why I say you can easily check in a 2-point perspective if you are right or if you're wrong. So if it isn't here or here, it's here 99.9% of the time, which means 1 out of 1,000 times it'll be someplace else. I'm going to erase the floor line so I have carpet. And so far I have a slightly less boring room than I did before. Now the next thing that we're going to put within this picture is going to end up being a bed. And it's going to seem like an awful lot of work for the bed. It really is. Wish there was a simpler way to do it and let it be correct. But once you've learned this method of doing the bed, then you could do a car, you could do a boat, you could do pretty much anything in 2-point perspective that you would need to do because you'll know how to build the form. So here's what we're going to do. On this left wall, I am going to draw a line about 1/3 of the way up. It's going to go to the right vanishing point, just like I did here, and I go like that. Am I doing this right? I think I'm doing this right. If I crash this thing, we're all going to know pretty quick. Once I draw that line, I bring 2 vertical lines off each corner of that line. Now, essentially what I've done is I've done the back wall where the bed pushes up against. So imagine this. You had a bed in that room, you threw a paint bomb in there. Boom, it blew up, it painted everything. When it dried, you pulled the bed out. This would be the area that didn't get painted because the bed was in front of it. We have to build the bed off this point. Now, to do that, I'm going to put my ruler on the left vanishing point. I'm going to draw a line away from this shape that I just created on the wall. Dun, 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 dun. Once I get that line done, I'm going to put my ruler up on the top part, go up to the top corner of that left line on the wall, and I'm going to draw another line out. Now, what I've done is I've done the left side of the bed. So since I created an actual side, I don't need to see my room line in that. So I'm going to erase it. What? Don't worry. I've been down this path before. This will work. So top line, left vanishing point. Bottom line, left vanishing point. So far, so good. We have essentially created another plane that's going there. Now, I am going to take my ruler and I am going to finish off this left facing plane. And I will erase my lines up to that point. So there's a couple of ways to think about it when you get to here. All right. You continually can go, well, if it's going here, it's going to the left vanishing point. Or you could think that's a new corner line. If you got a corner line and you're making it go toward you, all the rules that we learned last time still apply. So left side goes to the left vanishing point, right side goes to the right. Whichever method of that works in your brain, be my guest to think whatever way you want. All right. So I'm going to connect out like this. So I've got a left side of the bed. I've got a right side of the bed off that corner. The only thing I have to do is figure out the top. Because when I figure out the top, then I'll know where to bring a line down here. And hopefully I made these two lines long enough that when I put the top on there, the top will hit this one. Okay. So hopefully you've got left going to the left, right going to the right. You nailed that thing on the wall. This corner of the wall part also has to go from a vanishing point outward. So check this. This line's going to go until it runs into that top right line. When it does that, you can go straight down. And once you've gone straight down, you have basically created your front form or your form, which means you shouldn't be able to see any of the stuff back here. I know it's a little sad. We went through all that effort to make the door look cool. And now we have this big box in the middle of the room. And so just take a few minutes, erase what you don't want. I'll throw on a timer here and we can discuss that box. Now, I said bed, but it could be many things, right? It could be a coffin, which I guess is a type of a bed for somebody who's really sleepy. Sure how easy this was going to be as far as the distance learning moment. So this may not necessarily be all you. This is kind of a one that's hard to get because we have to start off the bat. We have to flip stuff, right? So once again, I have my room. I got my left side. I got my right side coming from my left. I'm going to ignore the door in favor of the bed. All right, I shouldn't be able to see that junk right now. But here could be where it was hard on you, where you might have messed up. And I should have figured this out, but I erased my horizon line. If your bed line is at the horizon line or higher, it's going to be hard to see the top of the bed. Because remember, the horizon line is your eye line. And I probably should have pointed that out. All right, so I'm going to make a smaller bed here. There's the top of that line. It's going to this vanishing point. Then I add in my verticals. Boom, boom. That's part one. All right. Part two is to take these two corners of that part and pull it away from the left. So that one comes out. And that one comes out. So part one, shape on the wall. Part two, corner of that shape, pulling lines out. Step three, vertical line to find the corner edge of that bed. Or if it's not going to be a bed, it'll be a desk or a giant pen for your pet jellyfish, because you're a big fan of peanut butter and jellyfish sandwiches, which sounds horrible. All right, step one, shape on wall. Step two, pull lines away from corner of shape, that vanishing point. Step three, lines coming from corner of the shape you just drew to the right vanishing point. All right. And then how you figure out where this sucker ends, you got to put your ruler back on the left vanishing point and go to the top right side of that shape that's on the wall. Where that line hits there, you can pull straight down. And that's good for, like I said, a bed, a desk, a big table. I mean, you'd have to change some stuff up, right? It could be a large container for jellyfish or stingray. I remember we used to go to the zoo and we'd pet stingray, and they had one of those, it was almost like an advanced kiddie pool, a ginormous kiddie pool. I always felt bad for the stingrays. I got to swim with the 35-foot stingray. I don't recommend it. The thing bellied me. I actually was able to swear out of a snorkel. My kid found it really funny. I found it horrifying. Okay, so let's take a few minutes here while you guys get caught up. I'm going to turn this into a bed. You could turn it into a table. How do you do that? Well, you got to give it some legs, right? I'm going to make one of those fancy beds with a lot of posts. Oh, look, it's got a big post here. Boom, 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 boom. I could get fancier with it. I'm going to draw one of those big curves on the top of the bed. Put some pillows. Thing is, when you start drawing stuff like pillows and bedspreads, you're doing what is basically known as a really loose perspective, because while it is over a form, it's vaguely going to those vanishing points. And here, just like we did the door, I'm going to bring a little bit of that post back so you can kind of feel that bed move up a little bit. And on this side, I'm going to freehand it. I'm going to make this side of the curve a little 3D. All right. So take a couple minutes, play with it. I mean, if it's not perfect, that's fine. If you don't want the ornamental orbs on your bed and you want to do gargoyles, go for it. Do some gargoyles. And I'll give you guys a couple minutes on that. So we'll try out our bed here. Okay. How much time we got left? Yeah, we got about 5 minutes. All right. So with our 5 minutes left, I'm going to assign you two things to do. Number one, put a figure in there somewhere. Are they going to be on the bed? Snoozing. With some details. Step one. Or is your person going to be over here? Because we really like doing these super close people. And then you can add a window or a cabinet or anything else that would be 2D. The simplest thing, or that would be going to the vanishing point. Simplest thing would probably be to do a window. A couple of people that did windows on the last one did not make them going to the vanishing point. Like they got everything, but the top and the bottom going to the vanishing point. Now you can put outside whatever you want. If you do a city, your city doesn't have to go to the vanishing point because those buildings won't be part of the 2-point perspective. They've got their own thing going on. All right. So that is truly all I'm going to be looking for this one. Is I'll be looking for a person in there somewhere and one other thing, like a window or a cabinet. If you're feeling brave and saucy, you can do a nightstand, whatever the case may be. All right. All right, cool. I'll give you guys a few minutes on that, and then we'll wrap up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time for today. Our next thing that we're gonna do, so I'm gonna see you guys like on Thursday. I'm gonna give you our assignment. There's gonna be one of our bigger assignments. We are gonna do a comic book cover. So start thinking about your character, who you hopefully you've been working on since like October. Think about their name because you're gonna have to do that in point perspective. And you're going to have to put some kind of building in there and eventually some kind of tree, because what we're going to do is use this as our person, house, and tree assignment or our final submission for the class. All right. So person, house, and tree within this comic book to some extent. Now, if you're inside of a house, fine, that counts. Like if you want to do your person fighting in a warehouse or a room or a secret laboratory, I will count that. Your person is going to be a person. It's going to be in human proportions. Just got to figure out how to put a plant or a tree in there. Title of your character, make it look cool. We're actually going to start working details and make this thing look as best as we can within the materials that we got. All right, that's it. Have a lovely day. Stay out of trouble. Can't stay out of trouble, don't get caught. And if you're having any problems with this, I'm going to post this video hopefully as soon as humanly possible.